He's going to end up in the hotel cuck chair if he's not careful.
That's what I'm saying. And Jerry Dandridge, the hotel cuck chair.
Sorry.
We got to say it. Does Jerry Dandridge have sex with her?
I know he bites her, obviously, but it sure looks like it.
From what I read, it alludes to the fact that they had sex.
Yeah, they definitely did it.
That hurts my feelings.
I think
it breaks my heart for Charlie.
For Charlie, right, for sure.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Blood and Donuts. I'm Tony.
And I'm Chris. How we doing out there? Tony, I'm back in headquarters.
Dude,
man.
we're in headquarters. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know this, but a lot of our podcasts, or all of our podcasts for the most part, except the ones that we did in the beginning, they're recorded. You were at your house.
Yep.
Far away, an hour away.
Yep.
And then we just kind of spliced it together. But our first couple of episodes were right here at this table.
Yeah.
And you're back for it. We were upstairs watching some horror movies.
We're getting ready for our Halloween special, Tony. So
Yes.
Halloween special, real quick, we're going to be doing a tier list ranking of the Halloween episodes.
Man.
So it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
We're trying to release it right around Halloween. So.
Yes. So if you hear us do a Donald Pleasance,
No.
please forgive us because that's in our mind right now.
We're trying not to do that.
Oh my gosh. Freaking Fright Night, dude.
Yeah, Fright Night, right?
1985.
You were wanting to go back to the 80s
Yes.
for this one, for your pick. So
It was. I mean, it was getting a little heavy on some of those movies.
we were doing some new and some later 2020s or whatever, but yeah.
This is a little bit more light, a little bit more 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
Cheese.
can't take it seriously.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fright Night, a 1985 American supernatural horror film written and directed by Tom Holland. The film follows teenager Charlie Brewster, who discovers that his next door neighbor, Jerry Dandridge, is a vampire. No one believes him, so Charlie decides to get Peter Vincent, a TV show host who acted in films as a vampire hunter, to stop Jerry's killing spree.
And that's fun, right? That's like kind of like a Boy Who Cried Wolf kind of angle.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what Tom Holland was going for. And real quick on him, he directed Child's Play.
Child's Play. How great
Thinner,
is that? Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, a few Stephen King deals. The Betrayal and The Stand, you know, that miniseries that Stephen King did that I love so much. He directed episodes 3 and 4 of that back in the day.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, very cool. When I saw that, when I was researching him, I was like, man, I got to say that.
When you talk about horror and horror directors, his name doesn't come up that often,
No, it
but
doesn't.
he is a iconic horror director.
Yeah, you have to really think about that. Yeah, it was really, really cool to kind of do some research on him.
Yes.
So I like that.
Absolutely. And Chris Sarandon, Jack
Yeah.
Skellington. I mean,
Not my Christmas. My Christmas is filled with laughter and joy and this.
and he was Jerry Dandridge in this, played the vampire, and I think he is the one who stands out in this role. Don't you think?
Hello, Charlie.
Definitely. Yeah. Really cool to do the research on him because when you said that, you're like, hey, man, he's in. I thought he looked like the guy from Goonies. I'll be honest with you. And I did some research and I'm like, no, that's not him. But boy, when they're younger, I think they look the same. But yeah. And then you read him, he's the voice of Jack Skellington and stuff like that. And it's
Princess
like,
Bride.
Smoke. Yeah. Princess Bride. Very cool.
But you want your vampire, your Dracula type character to be cunning,
Handsome.
and to be able to seduce you. I was seduced by him.
Got to be handsome. And he does it very well.
When there's like this club scene where he's like dancing with Amanda, what's her name?
Amanda Beers.
Amanda Beers, and like he's like seducing her, and
Yeah.
I'm getting seduced as well while he's doing this. Just a cool, calm vampire.
Yeah.
And he's evil. He's just great. I love his character. Seriously, I think he is my favorite vampire.
And I was going to ask you that too, as far as who plays a vampire. And I was thinking more too in I have a favorite vampire, but it's in literature. The Anne Rice interview with the vampire.
Yes.
That vampire, his name is Lestat.
Who played him on the movie?
Oh, well, that was Tom Cruise. Back at him and the Brad Pitt deal.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was going to do a little sidebar there. She didn't even watch that movie because she hated the idea of Tom
Really?
Cruise playing it. But after she saw it in a Walmart bargain bin,
Yes.
and she bought it and watched the movie that was based off of her book, and she loved it.
Yes.
And she called Tom Cruise to apologize. So anyway, that's a very deep side note there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's been so many There's been so many different versions of Dracula, and
yeah.
but this one takes all of those tropes and puts it into one. You know what I mean? Like Lugosi was probably the first one to do it, and they did the with the voice, like, you know what I mean, like that. Of course, Christopher Lee with the Hammer films made it very iconic.
Yeah.
And this one's kind of a play on those Hammer films from the 1960s and 70s, and you see that with Peter Vincent. Being obviously like Peter Cushing and Vincent Price character, like a Van Helsing type of character. And I love all of the tropes in this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love that about this.
Yeah, it's really lore heavy too. They use the whole have to knock or you have to be invited in. And they say that later too.
Yeah,
where the Evil Ed is kind of doing all of here's how you protect yourself.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
And how his mother just like invited. Yeah. And like you're sitting.
It's like, hey, you're fine as long as you don't invite him in. And then like later on that night, he's like, she's like, come downstairs, honey. He's like, come in, Mom.
He's welcome in our home anytime.
You just know that he was invited in. Oh, come on, Mom. Like
she goes, he's invited over here anytime. And he looks at, he goes, do you hear that? I'm going to be stopping by
a lot.
I love that. Just budget effects, the special effects make this movie as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a low budget film, only $7 to $8 million, and it did gangbusters it was the second highest grossing horror film that year, only Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Yep.
Is that correct?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay. I think, or it might have been 3, but that's the only one that beat it out at the box office. Yeah. But the special effects are amazing.
Yeah. Richard Edlund did the effects, and his team had just finished their work on Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And he said that they made all their mistakes on how to do the matte shots on Ghostbusters with their huge budget. So, like he said, once that was done, they made this as efficiently as they could at the time. So they kind of worked out the kinks in Ghostbusters. Oh. And then he brought that work over here to Fright Night. So
because Ghostbusters had probably a little bit bigger budget.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
For sure.
And I heard that they recycled a lot of those effects too. Like on the bat face, you can definitely see like the dogs from Ghostbusters in that bat face at the end.
Oh, but it's cool to learn all these facts. Like, so one real quick, Chris Sarandon, who plays Jerry.
Yes.
He hated the idea of playing a vampire. He did not want to star in a horror movie, and he did not want to work with a first-time director. But after he read the script, he loved it so much, he signed on. So he accepted the role after reading the script.
Well, I'm glad he did because, again, he's my favorite vampire. So I think he made this film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
What did you think about Charlie Brewster's character?
It was stereotypical. Just his, little teen, run-of-the-mill. He's thinking that something's going on, and this kind of later on in life when Are You Afraid of the Dark came along, they did this same movie in like a 20-minute little episode or whatever. I forget the name of it, but it was the same kind of concept where you have a suspicious neighbor come in. But he did a really good job of being that, like, he's convinced. He's the one who knows he saw what he saw. Yeah. And the rest of the actors in the movie are just trying to say, dude, you didn't see that. Like, you're overreacting. You're crazy. What are you talking about? So he does a really good job of trying to convince everybody else, I think. I
agree. And it kind of like in the movie, there's 2 characters that really make a complete 180. You got the
Vincent Price.
The Vincent Price character, or the Peter Vincent character, and of course Charlie as well. They make because Charlie's he's just a regular kid. All he's trying to do is have sex with his girlfriend.
That's what you're trying to do in the 80s.
He's watching horror movies, have sex with his girlfriend. But all of a sudden, this neighbor moves in, and he's starting to murder people. And at this point, it's like this consumes his life. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Because you're thinking like. You can see from the point of view of his friends, like he loves that horror genre because he's watching, what is it, Peter Vincent on TV.
Fright Night.
Yeah, he's watching that show, and he's just so enamored with it. So then when stuff really starts to happen, they're like, dude, you watch way too much of that scary stuff.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about? So you can see him kind of fall into that role.
And all the people who should be helping him, his mom, the police, nobody believes him. So he's in this by himself until he goes and gets Peter Vincent involved, and his girlfriend and his friend Evil Ed to a limit, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you and
come around?
So the most controversial character about this movie is Evil Ed, and we have to talk.
Chopped off. Can you believe it?
You're sick.
Oh, you're You're so cool, Brewster.
Talk about him.
I guess we.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of Evil Ed?
I didn't, and we usually don't talk about the movie before we start recording. But yeah, I think I let slip that he's the worst character in this. Like he's just really over anxious and overzealous and just really over the top for me.
I think it's of that time, 1985.
Yeah.
This was the humor, and that's what he was there to do. For me, he's more of a frustrating character because, and not to say he's a bad actor, because when Jerry Dandridge kind of gets him cornered, the tears that he has, where he's like kind of broken, and he's like they're not going to pick on you anymore.
Yeah,
you'll
just take my hand, you'll be fine.
Yeah, like when he's doing that, you're seeing like, man, this dude's a great actor. So I think this is what they wanted him to play. What frustrated me is their friendship. Charlie and Evil Ed. Are they friends? Are they not? He's mocking him. He threw when his girlfriend threw something in his face, he laughed at him. He's always making fun of him. He's like, dude, I thought you get teased all the time. Why are you being just a big jerk as well?
You're being a jerk to Charlie as well. Yeah, it was a good point. Yeah. And later on, he's faking like getting bit. He's like, oh, I got bit, he bit me. And then again, I think that is the comic relief. But for me, it
is a frustrating character.
Yeah.
Now, and there was something that I read. So there is a novel, the actual screen, right? The before it was all cut up and edited out. The friendship between Charlie and Evil Ed. They had been childhood friends for a very long time. This is very similar to what you and I went through, Chris. And Charlie, since he got his new girlfriend, kind of pushed Evil Ed to the side.
Right.
So when you're seeing Evil Ed act like a jerk to Charlie in those kind of ways, he is frustrated with the relationship because he's been pushed to the side by Amanda. But there wasn't enough time to put that in this film. Some of that got edited out, and it got compounded down a little bit. So
what's interesting is that after this movie, they were, a lot of people loved the idea so much they made like comics and everything about it, right?
Fright Night 2. This is actually there's a sequel to this, and there's also a remake that just came out that I heard is very good as well.
Good.
So
yeah, it's got like what's his name?
Colin Farrell. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So pretty cool.
Location doubled as Anywhere USA, with most of the film just shot on Laird Studios in the Disney lot. Fright Night used only about 7 real-world locations. That's one of the things I noticed about this. It does look like a lot. You know what I mean? When you're looking at his house, it's like one little corner street, his house, big, big vampire spooky house, and then there's like a church over here into the corner. It just seems like a lot. It doesn't seem like a real neighborhood to me. It does seem like a lot.
Yeah, they didn't really show a whole lot of extra, like it's not really location setting. Like these days, you get like an outside shot of a hospital or something. They didn't do any of that. They just kind of showed you the inside of a house and the outside of a house, and that was it. It was just Tom Holland wrote that script in 3 weeks.
Man.
So he wrote all that stuff in 3 weeks. So I thought that was pretty interesting and very cool to mention. So.
I heard that he was writing this, and he wrote it, and he was just like, I think it would be cool, like a Rear Window type of movie. Rear Window, where you have that weird neighbor that and a very suspicious neighbor but what if he's a vampire? Yeah. And then he left it alone. He's like, I don't know if that's going anywhere. But the more he thought about it, and when he saw like I could put a aging Peter Vincent Price type character that he reaches out to, that's when he knew he had a movie.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
And he tried to get Peter Vincent. I'm mixing these names up. He tried to get Vincent Price for this movie, but he wasn't interested. Instead, they went with Roddy McDowall, who had been in Planet of the Apes, kind of like just an old school actor who had been in a lot of things. Very seasoned actor. I think he did well as the Peter Vincent.
I think he did too, because he has to go through a lot of emotions there, and I don't want to spoil too much before we get there, but he kind of is like a coward at first, and then he comes around. So, but we're about to talk about that in a minute.
One character we didn't talk about, Amanda Beards. We know her from Married with Children.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Al Bundy's neighbor.
Yeah, I'm like reading. When you watch a movie, it's hard for me not to like, what were they in, and then I have to do a little quick search, but I knew who that was from the get go. I was like, oh, that's Married with Children. I couldn't think of her name right off the bat, but I was like, oh, that's Marcy. Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like she was great, but I feel like you could put a number of people in that spot.
Sure.
And it would have worked. But I did she has like a childish teenager charm about her.
Yeah, because this movie doesn't really utilize a final girl as much as horror movies around this time used. It was a final dude.
Fright Night is, in my opinion, one of the best vampire films ever made. And it has a lot of charm. Jerry Dandridge is my all-time favorite vampire. Equal parts seductive, terrifying, and he has a good screen presence that seals every scene. Practical effects are outstanding, delivering transformation sequences, creature designs that put most modern CGI to shame, in my opinion. Every character feels memorable and fun. The anxious Charlie to this eccentric Peter Vincent. The soundtrack is great and very good 80s vibe, heightening the tension atmosphere. I love the set pieces. Again, the special effects make it 80s, good 80s film. Not a perfect film, not a perfect horror film. It's not scary in that regard, but it's a good vampire film. I'm going to give this, Chris, I'm going to give it 11 out of 13. I think it's a great film, in my opinion. One of my favorites of the 80s.
Nice, man. That's a little hard, and I thought you were going to go. So this, for me, this was kind of like a breath of fresh air from the usual movies we watch. When you initially told me, like, oh, this is going to be it's like a horror comedy, man. I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah. A couple of those a year is it's kind of like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
To where you kind of just sit back and you don't take a movie too seriously. Because when I'm watching a movie, I'm like, I'm really going to critique it.
Right.
So this one, I kind of stepped back and just let it do its 80s thing. And I dug it. I thought it was really fun, campy, a great score, like you mentioned, and a cool story, Boy Who Cried Wolf kind of deal. Can't really say enough about the practical effects either. You touched on that. I think it has some really awesome acting and a little bit of bad acting too. Overall, I think horror fans should watch this movie. You want to check out this. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 13 donuts for Fright Night.
Good score. Good score.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Fright Night, you need to go watch it. Did you watch it for free? Or
yeah, it was on Pluto TV.
Pluto, so you got to watch it with ads, or you can buy it. I bought it on YouTube for $5.99. So now I own it until YouTube takes it away from me one day, like Sony just did a lot of people
Ouch.
Buy physical media, guys. Buy physical media. Anyway, we're going to go into our spoilers and our scene-by-scene discussion. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Here come the spoilers. Charlie Brewster is a normal, average teenager living with his divorced mother in an unnamed suburban town. One evening, Charlie looks out his window and he sees his new neighbors moving in the next door and appear to be carrying what looks like a coffin. Intrigued with his new neighbors, Charlie begins to spy on them. One day, a young woman shows up at Charlie's house by accident looking for another address. Charlie directs her to the house next door. The next morning at school, Charlie sees a news broadcast about the police finding another murder victim from an unknown serial killer who decapitates female victims, drains the bodies of blood.
Ooh. Hey, he said, Amy, we've been together for a year and all I hear is Charlie, stop it. Wait till bro's married for 30 years.
Oh, wait till you're married for 30 years.
And then the mom's like, oh, what's the matter? Love her spat? Like,
I love that. I love that.
Charlie, you just want to make love to me. And she's like, can you guys come here for a second?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
That's so good. He's just trying to have sex with his girlfriend.
He really is. She's like really, they're really just making out hardcore.
Yeah.
But his hand keeps reaching up the shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like, stop it. And I'm like,
we've been going out for a year.
It's such weird vibes.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving off mixed signals.
I heard on that, that big screenplay that was supposed to be like, we've been going out for a year. And then she reminds him that it's only been like 6 months on the screenplay. But I thought that was funny. I loved how Fright Night was playing in the background.
Yeah.
It was such good high school vibes, man.
It really was. Yeah. Because like it's dark outside, the windows open.
Yeah.
And they're just watching this horror show, but not really watching it, as you do when you're trying to make out when you're in high schools.
And he has a cool window. You look out, they're carrying out a coffin. And at that very moment, like every time his girlfriend's like trying to get his attention, something in this movie is happening and and it's got his attention. And she thinks he's just the biggest jerk on planet Earth because of it.
Every time she's like, okay, I'm ready to make love. And then he's like looking out the window and he's like, give me a minute or whatever. Like, just totally shuns her the whole time.
It does say decapitates his victims.
I didn't
So Dracula, let's say he eats you, okay? Let's say you turn into a vampire at a certain time, right? Mm-hmm. Now, do you have to decapitate because he doesn't want a bunch of vampires running around town, like show, you know what I mean? Because that would bring attention to him, and he'd have to fight for blood and stuff. You know what I mean?
And the way I look at vampires is they feed on people but may not kill them all the way. If they want to change someone, then they have to drink the blood of the vampire or something like that. Okay. That's how they get the gift or whatever, according to some lore. So But yeah, he doesn't just turn everybody into vampire, but it seems like he's just killing maybe someone who society doesn't care about, either like a bad guy or maybe a prostitute or something like that is what they're thinking, because they call this girl a call girl. So she comes over, he uses an escort service to just get a girl who's vulnerable and just kills her. So nobody really, I mean, it's in the news, but it's like some unnamed lady, you know what I mean? So
someone nobody's going to really miss.
Yeah, except for her family, maybe, or something. But it sounds horrible saying.
Yeah,
I'm not the vampire. It's him.
It doesn't. But he doesn't need a call service because he's amazing and he can go out and get anybody he wants.
Yeah, he can just float around to the neighbor's mom.
and just look at him because he's sexy and looks great.
That's the thing. You have to have some charm as a vampire. And he definitely has it.
But you can look at this film in different places. I had to Google a lot of different times because it is so enriched in the lore of vampire from back in the day.
It's a lot.
There's one point at the end where he's like lining his coffin with something like dirt. It looked like soil, and I was like, I said, "What's going on here?" While they're trying to, do
break the windows,
do stuff upstairs, and I was like, "What is this?" And according when he sleeps, it's like in lore to have the soil of where he came from.
Oh, okay.
Something in vampire lore that I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
So there's like little pieces in there that that you wouldn't maybe not catch on the first go around.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, anyway. So later, Charlie, suspecting something sinister about his new neighbor, spies on the house next door, and he sees Jerry Dandridge biting the neck of another woman. He tells his mother what he saw, but she passes it off as Charlie's imagination. Charlie tries to tell his friend Evil Ed and girlfriend Amy Peterson, but neither of them believe him and begin to worry about Charlie's mental well-being.
Yeah, the best way I can describe Evil Ed is Sid from Toy Story. It just... I mean, where he's like killing all the toys and stuff. He just burns them.
Is that how you see him?
Yeah, it's absolutely how I saw him.
He does love scary movies.
Sure.
Which I like that about him. He does have he just has like a very high pitch, like
he's super cringe and just overstimulated.
Yeah, very overstimulated.
Yeah.
But
and I like how he's like, will you help me? And he's like, no. And he's like, how about $8? And then he's like, okay, it's not upon me to take money from a fool or something like that.
Yes.
So, and $8 really went a long way in the 80s, man. You could just get help with a vampire then.
Oh yeah. when you look, when he catches Jerry on this particular one, the window's open at Jerry's house.
Yeah.
He's looking across.
He's looking at boobs, more or less.
You see a beautiful lady there, and Jerry is doing his thing, and she's just perfectly perched,
Oh yeah, sure.
Right
I saw
there,
that
pointing towards the window there, and Jerry's about to go for the neck, and then you saw it. You did see that?
I did see that.
Oh, okay.
Where she was pointed towards the window,
perfectly perched. But then he like kind of gazes up and sees Charlie looking at him, and does
he shut the blinds?
Shuts the blinds,
curtains.
Yeah, and then we're going to the next day where do they carry a body out after that, or does he hear it on the news?
I think he just hears it on the news that a local woman was never seen again or something. So he sees the bite.
Yeah.
And then then Jerry shuts the window, right?
Yeah. He's about to bite or
something like that. That's really, it makes it like it maybe leads Charlie on enough to think like.
And he had nails when he pulled down the.
Yeah, he
that's
did.
what it was.
Yeah.
He has like really long fingernails.
He saw the almost bite and then saw the long nails, and then he kind of put two and two together and starts speculating, dude.
Another day later, Charlie calls the police with information about the murder victims, and a detective accompanies him to the house where they meet Billy Cole, Jerry Dandridge's roommate, who lets them in and shows them around the house. Finding nothing, the detective decides to leave, but Charlie tells him to check the basement, which Billy seems adamant about letting them go down there. The detective forces Charlie to leave with him and tells him, "Don't ever call me again," thinking that Charlie has an overactive imagination.
Yeah, and my favorite character in this movie, aside from Jerry, of course, is Billy.
Yes,
the caretaker dude.
Yeah,
because he's like joking with the detective, and he's like, "Oh yeah, watch out, we're gonna get you." Like,
he has a big smile on his face. He's like nodding, and he's like,
"I can show you the trash we took out last night. It's right back here, detective."
I feel like Charlie could have like held his hand a little closer,
played the cards a little closer.
He was like, "He's a vampire," and at that point, the detective just like I am so sorry for messing with your
Yeah,
time.
my bad.
Get this boy out of here. And like he got him out. He's like, don't you ever call me again.
Yeah.
But that caretaker, we find out that he's a little bit more than just a caretaker.
It's weird, yeah. Later on, because he's not a zombie,
Yeah.
Because you shoot him in the head and they're dead or whatever. So it's hard to think if he's like a fledgling. But then
I looked it up. It was like part human, part ghoul.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah,
yeah. And he doesn't have blood. It's like a green ooze.
Yeah, it's an ooze. Yeah. So yeah, I think you're right.
I like that.
I think it's half ghoul, half human, or something like that.
He can roam during the daytime.
Right.
So that's a good asset for.
He seems
Jerry
like he
Dandridge.
doesn't sleep at all because he's awake during the day taking care of
he
Jerry's
doesn't
house.
need.
And he's up with Jerry at night trying to help him find food. So.
And at one point, you see Charlie trying to snoop around, like try to open the basement doors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he's just like, "Hey, don't ever come around here ever again."
I do like how Jerry has his own music too.
Oh,
like
yeah.
as soon as it shows him on
so
screen,
good.
it hits that softcore Pern music, and it's so fun. It's really good.
And you always see him like eating a piece of fruit.
I was going to talk about that later. Let's talk about it later.
Okay, I'll wait.
Yep.
Let's see. Suspecting that Jerry Dandridge is a vampire, he seeks advice from Evil Ed about how to fight vampires. Evil Ed tells him from watching movies and documentaries about suspected vampires that vampires are super strong, have no heartbeat or pulse, have vulnerabilities to holy water and crosses. They also cast no reflection in a mirror, and that they can only be killed by fire, decapitation, sunlight, or a wooden stake through the heart. Ed also tells Charlie that a vampire cannot enter a person's home without being invited.
I love that. I love that
So
lore.
good.
And I was going to ask you at this point if you had a favorite vampire movie from the books or movies. And again, so like a lot of the lore that I like about vampires is that they don't need anything else to sustain them but blood.
Yeah.
So while Jerry eats like fruit in this, which we will talk about later still, it's not talking about it yet. But like the vampire from the book that I like, he goes to a coffee shop and he buys a cup of coffee at night just so he can feel the warmth of the mug. You know what I mean? Like that's the only warmth he can feel. And they don't eat, they don't have, they don't, anything like that. The only thing that drives them is the need for blood.
Right.
And that's it. And then they'll of course target, bad people or the drug dealers and stuff like that to get rid of society's dregs. So that's the kind of things I like in a vampire.
I do like how Jerry Dandridge doesn't want to kill Charlie necessarily.
Yeah, he offers him he's like a choice.
And at one point he even says, he goes, if you had a choice, like I don't have Charlie, like I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Which he seems like he's very real at that point. Because Charlie is so adamant about, which is good because these girls are dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could have just went on with his life.
Or he could have just killed Charlie outright. But it's like he has a heart for him. He's like, hey, look, I'm going to give you a choice I don't have.
Absolutely.
If you take my hand, you can be with me. So he even offers him to be a vampire.
I don't think, in the beginning, I don't think he even wants that. I think he's just like, hey, just go and forget about me. Leave me alone. Stop snooping around.
Yeah.
We're neighbors. I don't have a choice in this.
Right.
But Charlie just
won't leave well enough alone, and he just keeps pursuing, and he's like, and I think we're going to talk about it later. We always jump ahead of ourselves.
It's cool.
But yeah, it's fun.
Charlie goes home. He finds Jerry Dandridge in his living room waiting for him. Having been invited in by Charlie's mother, Dandridge is seemingly friendly and tells Miss Brewster about Charlie showing up at his house today. And she reprimands Charlie. Don't do that again. That evening, Charlie begins to fortify the house, knowing that Dandridge can enter whenever he feels like it. However, Dandridge enters the house from a second floor window, hides in a closet in Charlie's bedroom.
And yeah, we just talked about it. Jerry's being super nice here. He gave him the option, and Charlie chooses violence for some reason. I think if you're offered the gift of a vampire and he's already got his hands around your throat, I think you just give in at that point. I think you just kind of accept defeat. But for some reason, he fights. And how did he get out of? Oh, the mom calls. He's like, it's going to get into it later.
Yeah, you're skipping it a little bit, but he gets a pencil into Jerry's hand.
Yeah. It's kind of the same scene.
It's like a wooden stake type of deal. But Jerry was he was about to kill Charlie. He was throwing him like he was a freaking sack of potatoes,
Yeah.
Jerry's super strong. You'll find that out at the club and stuff. He's super strong, super strength, and just like at night, you just can't stop him.
Right. And yeah, for Charlie, it's like nowhere to go.
But nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And his mother is so enamored by Jerry.
Yeah.
She's just like, you could come over anytime you want. And he's so handsome.
He's
so
like,
debonair. Yeah.
I think he says, I'm going to be coming over a lot. In fact, I'll see you quite a bit.
Yes.
And he goes, with your mother's permission, of course.
She
And then
goes,
she's like, of course.
Of course.
You can come over anytime. And he's like, well, thank you. Like, it's just right there. Permanent invite, open invitation.
It's so good. Charlie gets ready for bed. Dandridge surprises him by threatening to kill him for snooping around, nearly revealing his secret that he indeed is a vampire. When Dandridge tries to choke Charlie to death, he stabs the vampire in his right hand with a pencil. Wounded and angry, Jerry Dandridge terrorizes Charlie by revealing his true vampire demonic image, complete with red eyes, fangs, claws, and a roaring with a wolf-like rage. But waking up Charlie's mother, Dandridge flees and threatens to kill Charlie tomorrow night.
Yeah, and here's where I was going to talk about that special effects from Ghostbusters and stuff, but it's really cool to see because you don't really see the transformation.
Yes.
You kind of see it in stages. So he's like full on vampire, and then he's like, he hears Charlie's mom, and so he's having to kind of untransform. So he's kind of going back down to his normal self, or as normal as he can be. So you kind of see him full-fledged vampire, and then you see like a little bit less, a little bit less. So it's really cool to kind of see that de-transformation.
I love it. And you know what? The 80s did it better than anybody. American Werewolf in London, and even Thriller. If you look at Thriller and Michael Jackson's transition, and
that's a great point.
And in this one, there's actually a wolf de-transition.
That's a good one, too.
To a human. I mean, how good is that?
Yeah. I feel like they shot a lot of that in reverse, too. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but yeah, that's really fun.
So cool. You can't say enough about the special effects of the 80s, man. It's like, it's so cool. I love watching it. It's just like, this is a movie I could just put on anytime and enjoy it. Just in the background.
Is this going to be in your Halloween rotation, you think?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Nice.
I bought it, man. It's mine now.
It's got to be.
The next morning, Charlie then seeks out help of his favorite vampire killer, Peter Vincent, a former actor who hosts TV segments of horror movies that Charlie watches and who claims to be a real vampire hunter. Charlie confronts Vincent at the studio where he works, tells him that his neighbor is a vampire and he's going to kill him. Vincent, like everyone else, brushes off Charlie's claims as an overeager teen with an overactive imagination.
Boy, never meet your heroes, right? Like
That's just true. He's a jerk.
He's a super jerk. And like at first he's like, "Oh, you want an autograph?"
He just got his walking papers. He just got fired.
He did. What do you want me to sign?
I love how he said teens nowadays just want to watch a. Go ahead, say it.
No, I was gonna mention that. Like he's fact dropping to Peter, or Peter is fact dropping. Like he's like, you just do what this generation always does, wanting people to run around in ski masks and hacking up virgins.
Oh, I love that.
It's so true too.
Yeah, that's so good.
Really true for that time period.
And that Tom Holland was frustrated with the horror scene at the time because Friday the 13th, obviously Halloween, that is what people were wanting. And that's what he goes, what happened to vampires? What happened to this classic era that he grew up in? And so that's why he made this.
And that really makes it a lot like cooler for me.
Yeah.
Like he really, like this first time director saw the horror scene and was just like, man, it's all the same stuff over and over. I'm going to make this campy deal. Of course, back then it was modern for them, you know what I mean? But for us, it's like campy 80s.
Yeah, it was of the time.
Yeah. And
vampire film with a Van Helsing type character.
And that's really cool how he created that. So yeah, very good.
And it being a comedy, horror comedy, like it could go one of two ways. A lot of them can go really heavy on the comedy and slack on the horror. I feel like the special effects and the horror, I feel like they didn't slack on it.
The horror outweighs the comedy here.
Yeah.
So like another movie that we've watched, like Totally Killer.
Okay.
That one kind of weighed more to comedy
I agree.
for me.
Agree. Yeah.
Like, but it still had good horror elements, but it was comedy first.
Right.
Like,
and then slasher second.
Yeah. And you could say like Gremlins. That's more family friendly oriented and funny versus horror. But this one here kind of emphasizes the horror with a little bit of comedy. So that's cool. That's a good point.
Cabin in the Woods, I think, did good with the horror.
It really did.
But it was hilarious.
And it was that may be the perfect balance
that's so good
of horror and comedy.
I agree. I think this is too. I wouldn't, but again, it's not hilarious to me.
It's not hilarious.
I smile. I'm like this. But I'm not like laughing out loud.
Yeah, this one's more feel good.
Yeah.
Feel good comedy versus like laugh out loud.
Cabin in the Woods, I like belly laughed.
That is true. Tequila is my lady.
My lady. But yeah, he just lost his job. Again, he's kind of like with the horror scene. He's a little disillusioned with the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Charlie kind of he meets him on a bad day.
Because in this film, he is a horror movie star.
Right.
And then now he's just talking about it after the fact. He's like, oh, and this is when we used to stab vampires like this. And then like his audience is just failing or whatever. Yeah. So,
but I love how Charlie, he never not has faith in Peter Vincent. I feel like
that's true. Yeah.
He just first off, he always calls him Peter Vincent. That's not even his name. It's a character that he plays on TV,
right?
And he says it at one time. He goes, "I'm not Peter Vincent. It's not even my name." And so his name's like Herbert or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's And he goes, and plus I get paid for doing this, and and Charlie goes, "I know. So you're going to come help me or not?" You know what I mean? Like he doesn't care.
And it is weird though too. Like, see, that kind of is kind of one of the negatives for me. Is like later on in the movie, when Peter Vincent decides to help him, Charlie's just all on board. And it's dude, he just shot you down like 20 minutes ago. And now like you're gung-ho still. Like, dude, come on.
He's Van Helsing to him. He's Peter Vincent,
I guess.
Charlie does not go to school that day because he finds that his car is totaled after Dandridge apparently trashed it the other night after their confrontation. Evil Ed and Amy visit Charlie at his house and find him secluded in his bedroom with crosses hanging.
So many candles.
Oh,
lit,
it's so good. I love this part. Hearing him talk about Peter Vincent, Evil Ed and Amy visit him at his apartment where they tell him about their friend and persuade him to prove to him that vampires don't exist. Vincent calls Dandridge at his house and offers to come over the next night with Charlie to debunk Charlie's theory that he's a vampire.
And it's funny because like they're really trying to convince him, and he's like, no. And he's like, I've got money. And he's like, how much? It's like immediately.
Yeah, she's like, I have a savings bond.
For $500 or something.
I laughed out loud when they walked into Charlie's room, and it's so dark and there's candles everywhere.
And he looks like he hasn't slept in 3 days.
Yeah, there's crosses hanging on the wall, and he's sitting there sharpening a steak.
Wow. What's all this for?
And they're just like, what is going on, dude? I love that scene.
He definitely took it too far.
So he says, "What you got to get Peter Vincent's out." They're like, "You're going off the deep end here, Charlie." They're like, "Oh, why don't you reach out to Peter Vincent?" He goes, "I already did." He said no, and they're like, "Well, let us go talk to him." So they go and talk to him, and he's like, "No, he's a lunatic. I talked to this guy. I'm not going to help him out." And like you said, I have a savings bond. He goes, "How much?"
Immediately.
Yeah.
And that was funny.
He even said, "Oh, I have other movie offers," which he didn't. He was kind of lying about that as well.
Right.
But anyway, the plan was we're going to take holy water. No, he calls up Jerry Dandridge and he goes, what was the first thing that he offered?
He's like, can we do crosses? He's like, no, you can't do crosses.
I'm newly converted, and I believe crosses are too much or something like that. Sacrilege. Yeah. He goes, how about holy water?
Tell him it's holy water.
He goes, I don't do that. We'll just do tap water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said no. He said no to that either. Just tell him it's tap. Like we'll get through it. We're just trying to convince this kid that you're not a vampire.
Right.
Even though he's fully seen you in a vampire movie.
Absolutely. The following evening, Vincent, Charlie, Ed, and Amy pay a visit to Dandridge's house where Billy lets them in and introduces them to Jerry Dandridge. Vincent tries to show Charlie that Dandridge is not a vampire by having him drink a vial of holy water. Charlie is still not convinced and says that the holy water that Dandridge just drank isn't real holy water. However, after Vincent sees Jerry cast no reflection in his small compact mirror, he gets scared and gathers up Amy, Charlie, and Ed, and they all leave. Mr. Vincent hurries to his car, and then he drives away fast. Dandridge finds the mirror dropped by Vincent on his way out and leaves as well.
And I feel like there's no way Charlie would go back into that house after he knows what he knows. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
Things. I also thought that they could have made it a bit more, and this is me being the cynical Chris.
Yes.
Here's how I would have done it. But it's weird how they just like handed him the drink. Like, here's holy water. And he wouldn't let Charlie even say anything about it. It's holy. I promise it's holy water. But they could have made like a little comedy bit for them, like trying to sneak the drink into like what Dandridge was drinking or something.
Yeah.
Like they could have made a little comedy bit about that.
Yeah.
whatever. It is what it is. But very cool. And then he of course he looks at Amy really strange, right? So it looks like his past love of his life or something. So he's enamored with Amy Peterson.
Yeah. The ghoul that helps him. What's his name? Bill? Is it Billy?
Billy, yeah.
Billy says she looks just like her, doesn't she?
Yeah.
One of my complaints is that doesn't really go anywhere, other than he seeks her out, but you really don't hear anything else about it.
Yeah, and I think it's tied into the scenery. Like you can see pictures in the background of paintings that look like Amy.
Yes.
So you can kind of piece it together on your own, but it doesn't explain it.
It doesn't. Right. It doesn't. It really does. That part doesn't go anywhere other than he likes Amy.
Yeah.
But you didn't even need that. You could have done that just because it's Charlie's girlfriend, and I want to hurt him because he's hurting me.
Right. But I do like the avenue that they took there, where she's she looks like a past love of his life.
Yeah, I like the angle.
So yeah.
I like the angle. I'm just saying it didn't really go anywhere. And then you do find out that Peter Vincent's kind of just a coward.
Oh yeah, at this point, yeah, he's run away from Charlie on two notes. So the first one, I think you could feel like he ran away from Charlie because he's a crazy kid.
Yes.
And then in the second phase, he's running away because like, holy crap, Charlie's right.
He's a coward in real life.
I just saw a vampire and I'm scared to death and I'm leaving. See you later, kid.
And it's unfortunate. The following is at this point, they're just Peter Vincent went home. And then
he drove off, and then
they're walking home at this point. Charlie doesn't have a car anymore. Jerry Dandridge destroyed it. And so they're just walking home on the streets.
And I think Evil Ed's trying to leave. And he's like, no, we got to walk Amy home.
We're going to walk together. We're going to walk Amy home. As Charlie, Amy, and Ed walk away, Evil Ed decides to leave Charlie and Amy by walking in a dark alley. He's just being funny here. You know what I mean? He's he's just like
over
playing.
The top.
Yeah, over the top. He's like, what? I can go down to the dark alley. He goes, no, he's going to get you down there. You know, we've got to stay around people, places, and lots of light.
I would have just let him go.
Yeah, and they did. He runs down an alley, and he gets darker and darker. All of a sudden, Jerry Dandridge appears, who wants Ed to become a vampire. At Peter Vincent's apartment, he huddles scared and tries to shake it off from feeling scared. Just then, Evil Ed knocks on Peter Vincent's door. Vincent opens it and begins conversing with Evil Ed casually, as he knows nothing of this hideous, undead Evil Ed is now. Suddenly, Evil Ed attacks Mr. Vincent, who places a cross upon Evil Ed's forehead, which burns him and scalds Evil Ed's. The scalded Evil Ed slinks away, threatening Mr. Vincent by telling his master's gonna get you.
Master's gonna be. What was the Dracula Dead and Loving It with Liam Neeson and stuff like that?
It's been so long. You'd have to remind me.
It's like it's Liam Neeson, from Naked Gun series.
Absolutely.
Or whatever. And he's Dracula. And it's got the chick from Robin Hood Men in Tights. She's in there. And then it's got his Renfield, I think is his like servant's name.
Yes.
Oh, Master is going to get me. That reminds me of that when he says Master. But I do like the stalking phase. And this kind of skipped over the very touching scene and powerful scene, like you mentioned earlier, and this movie is kind of like a horror comedy, but it's also kind of like, it's so well acted that it's kind of like a touching moment where he's like, hey, Ed, like, you take my hand, they're not going to pick on you anymore.
Right.
They're not going to be able to push you around anymore.
Yes.
So he offers that same gift he was going to give to Charlie. He offers it to Ed here. But I do like the stalking phase through the back alley. I think that's a fun scene. Special effects are really good with Ed when he gets that crucifix kind of pressed on his forehead. That looks super good.
Oh, I love Evil Ed as a vampire. I think he looks so good. Yeah. Good fangs. His eyes look amazing. And like you said, this is well acted. Maybe we don't like his character as much, but Stephen Jeffries was an amazing actor who won a Tony Award for being on Broadway the year prior. And that's a big reason why he got this award. He's a Broadway actor.
Awesome.
So he's a great actor again, but the part was it's a frustrating character.
Yeah, he's just so eccentric.
A little over the top. And I'm sure that's what they told him to do.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where I was going to say with the vampire deal. So vampires don't eat fruit normally. They just drink blood. So this is where Sarandon added his idea to the movie.
I saw that.
He wanted for his character to be able to turn into a fruit bat. So that makes sense where he's always eating fruit.
Yes.
He's either killing someone and drinking their blood, or he's eating an apple, or he's eating some kind of fruit. So I was like, when I was watching, I was like, why is this? This is weird. Why is he doing that? But then you read the kind of behind the scenes where Sarandon wanted his character to be a fruit bat.
Yeah.
He's always eating a piece of fruit. So that was really cool for me.
I like that. It's kind of seductive too.
It puts his own touch on it too.
Yeah, and it's seductive. He's always eating this apple. So you just I just assumed that there was some kind of fruit bat down his lineage somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that sweetness, maybe again, like the coffee, holding the coffee cup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a comfort thing.
Yeah, it's a comfort thing. Yeah, for sure.
Charlie and Amy find Dandridge following them, and he chases them to a local nightclub where Dandridge sees that Amy resembles his lost love. He uses his vampire charm to hypnotize her and dance with him. When Charlie intervenes, Dandridge restrains him, and two bouncers appear. Dandridge morphs into his fanged, red-eyed vampire form and kills both bouncers with his superhuman strength. I don't know if he kills them, but I know he threw him. I didn't know he killed him. Pretty much, maybe. Dandridge escapes from the nightclub in the confusion and chaos with Amy, and he tells Charlie to meet him later at his house, or he's going to kill her. He says, bring Peter Vincent, too.
Yeah, you two come to the house. And it's crazy. He doesn't really use the charm on her. It's just him as a handsome dude. Like, he doesn't even need the vampire charm.
I feel like she's on it, though. I feel like it's there. The seductiveness.
She already wants it.
And do you notice as she's dancing with him, she's changing, she's morphing? Do you notice, like,
Really?
yeah, she goes down, like the hair clip comes out, the hair gets, she's starting to even look more beautiful than she was.
Wow, I did not catch that.
Yeah, she's almost like morphing herself into this beautiful woman, and it's like as she's dancing with him, it's like it's cool. It's a cool transition.
And then she kind of like stops him from going after the neck straight away.
Yes.
And then she's like,
they're being
here's my neck.
They're
Like,
being
it's
seductive with this game.
They totally want it.
Yeah, and then they're dancing by mirrors, and you can see where she's dancing completely by herself. He has no reflection whatsoever.
And that's when she kind of freaks out, and she kind of almost snaps out of it, where she's like, okay, this is kind of dangerous.
I feel sorry for Charlie here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's trying, like he's been dating her for a year. He's trying to get some in the beginning.
He's going to end up in the hotel cuck chair if he's not careful.
That's what I'm saying. And Jerry Dandridge, the hotel cuck chair.
Sorry.
We got to say it. Does Jerry Dandridge have sex with her?
I know he bites her, obviously, but it sure looks like it.
From what I read, it alludes to the fact that they had sex.
Yeah, they definitely did it.
That hurts my feelings.
It
breaks my heart for Charlie.
For Charlie, right, for sure. And I guess it's not really a secret anymore. Like at the end of this scene, he's just like full on throwing people around and turning into a vampire in front of the town.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird for me.
I was confused that he had to turn there to throw the bouncer. He could have just thrown the bouncer.
Yeah, because he just threw him like he did Charlie in his room where he hadn't turned yet, and he was just throwing him around.
I think what happens is he gets the more pissed, like because he's usually cool as a cucumber and very calm and stuff. But I think as he rages or gets pissed off or somebody gets in his way, his realness comes out.
Sure, I can see that.
I think that's what happened when he got stabbed by that pencil in Charlie's room. And
he instantly just changed.
Yeah, he starts changing.
Yeah.
It starts changing. I think that's what happened at the club. He's starting to get a little irritated and pissed.
Yeah.
So that's why his form is showing.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
Charlie runs back to Mr. Vincent, who makes him grab a cross before he enters his apartment. Charlie persuades Peter Vincent that they must confront Dandridge and kill him before the night's over. The duo get ready, and actually it doesn't talk about the fact that Peter Vincent says, no, absolutely not. Charlie leaves empty-handed, and then Peter Vincent shows up.
Yeah, that's true.
The duo get ready, go to Jerry's house. By then, he has already turned Amy into a half vampire. As Charlie and Vincent enter the house, Dandridge appears on top of the stairs and says, "Welcome to Fright Night. For real."
Welcome to Fright Night. For real.
So good.
Which is the tagline to Peter Vincent's show.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Vincent holds up a cross, but with no faith behind it. Can't stop Dandridge from advancing. When you're dealing with the real Dracula, yes, you could stick a cross on Evil Ed, but when dealing with Dandridge, you got to have good faith.
Yeah. And it's kind of like The Exorcist, too. Like, you have to have real exorcists, like real priests performing that. So that's a pretty cool deal.
I like that. Charlie has faith, and the vampire covers in fear from his crucifix. But Billy Cole comes to his master's aid and knocks Charlie right off the staircase, rendering him unconscious.
I was thinking at the time it would have been hilarious if Dandridge like set up the Home Alone style traps for the humans to come in. Like they're dodging paint cans and stepping on tar and holding burning hand doorknobs and stuff. Sorry, I'm running out of
No,
material
I like that. Well, you know what could happen if with a low budget horror film made in the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
What could have happened? They could have showed up, and the final fight could have been about 7 minutes, and it would have been over with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like how they lingered here. This was a battle. It wasn't just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It started here. It went to his mom's house, to Charlie's house, and then it ends up in the basement. It was a battle. So I like that about this. Jerry Dandridge is he's an opponent. And he's a dark, you know what I mean? Like, so these two battling it out with him. This took a good chunk of the movie, like 20, 30 minutes.
That's a good point. Yeah, because you're kind of watching this build up, and then and it's kind of come down to this final battle.
Some movies could have let you down there, I believe.
Yeah, and this one kind of held the torch too. That's a great point.
And again, you get that wolf transition, Jerry Dandridge. You get some of the best special effects here in the last 30 minutes of the film, which it should. So it doesn't make you leave like being like, oh, what is
going on?
Yeah, it was a very good last act.
Yeah, there's still a lot of good stuff to come, so it's a good point.
Vincent panics and runs to Charlie's house. Charlie wakes up to find himself locked in a room with Amy, who's now half vampire. Dandridge leaves a steak for Charlie. He's like, you're going to need this. Giving him a choice to kill Amy or not risk getting killed by her when she fully turns the next morning. Vincent flees to Charlie's house to hide out, only to be confronted by Evil Ed, who transforms himself into a wolf and attacks Vincent again. Vincent defends himself by breaking a wooden table leg and kills Evil Ed by stabbing him through the heart, who then morphs back into his human form as he dies.
Yeah, and that's a really good scene with Dandridge giving him the steak and saying, hey, you're going to need this. And he's basically saying, dude, you're going to have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Like, you love this girl. She's turning into a vampire. Are you going to kill her? Or are you going to join me? You know, it's not, I don't think he's offering him the gift anymore.
No.
But he's also not killing him. You know, he could have killed him there.
Right.
But he just kind of gave him a steak and said, here you go. Because I know you can't use it on me. I'm this big master vampire. Like, you're not going to do me, but...
You want to kill vampires?
Yeah.
Go at it.
Yeah. Here's
you go.
The love of your life.
So cool.
Yeah, that's a really good scene. But the thing I didn't like, what's with the wolf? Like, what?
That's part of the vampire lore. So in Bram
wolf?
Stoker's Dracula, he could morph into a wolf, he could morph into a bat, he could morph into mist. And so I had to look up that too. I was just like, why is Evil Ed turning into a wolf? And that's part of that vampire lore, that Dracula lore that Tom Holland really delved into in this one.
Is this the... have we seen the part where he's wearing the... no, this is that scene, where he's wearing like the mop top.
Yes.
As a wig or something.
Yeah. So Peter Vincent goes to Charlie's mom trying to wake her up, saying, you know, we need help and stuff. But she's working nights, which you kind of find off in like a off scene.
Yeah,
she goes,
like a quick line.
Yeah, they put me on nights. So Evil Ed was waiting in her bed, and he's wearing that red wig, and and so they're gonna have it out. And Peter Vincent, you know, he prevails and gets a wooden stake into Evil Ed,
which is surprising considering his character being cowardly and things like that. So absolutely.
And again, I can't say enough about that transition back into a human form. And you see a lot of humanity with Peter Vincent. He didn't want to kill this kid, and he's like really...
Yeah. No, that's a really good point too, because he's really going through it. He's stabbed a kid. It's almost like he didn't mean to, but he had to defend himself.
Absolutely.
And then he's watching him like whimper and whine down there as he's detransitioning. And that stuff looked really cool because it looked like it was played backwards.
Yeah.
Because you could see like a stretched foot, and then it goes into a normal foot. So it's almost like they just stretched it out and then put it in reverse, so it looks like it's going back to its normal self. Yeah. So I saw a lot of reverse editing or whatever there, but it looked really good.
I can't say enough about special effects from the 80s, man. I can't get enough of it. We did dolls, you know, with the stop motion animation and stuff like that. To me, that's just like lost art. You know, we don't see that anymore with CGI and stuff like that. So I just love it. And when I see it, I'm just like, I have a big smile on my face. Vincent returns to the Dandridge house where he frees Charlie, and they confront Billy again. Vincent shoots him several times with a gun, but Billy, sort of a zombie-like slave type thing, keeps advancing towards them, and Charlie finally kills him with Vincent's wooden stake by stabbing him through the heart, in which Billy melts into a gooey mess of blood and green slime.
And this is where I was going to ask what he was, but we already kind of talked about it. But being stabbed through the heart with a stake, it's almost like he is kind of vampirish. But
Yeah, I don't.
but
Yeah,
whatever. Still a fun scene.
whatever ghoul he is, I don't think it really matters or hurts the story in any kind of way.
And Billy is really a problem for the humans because he's out at day and night. So
Right.
he's kind of like the bodyguard. But once you get rid of him, you at least have a shot at Dandridge.
That's
so,
the truth.
So it's really cool that they finally take out Billy here, who's a problem for them.
Yeah, the weakest thing about a vampire or Dracula is that they have to sleep during the day.
Yeah.
So any daylight, anything like that. So Billy, it really is the one, because he's unstoppable at nighttime. Let's
Right.
be honest. That you don't want to take on a Jerry Dandridge
Not
at
gonna happen.
nighttime. You know what I mean? You're seeing him. He's making easy work of anybody that confronts him at this time.
Yeah.
He can. I mean, he has unlimited powers. It seems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Charlie and Vincent have another confrontation with Dandridge, who is kept at bay with their crucifixes, and then they see that dawn is approaching. Dandridge transforms himself into a bat, flies away. Charlie and Vincent venture down to the basement. They find Dandridge's coffin to kill him while he sleeps. Just when they find the coffin, Amy, now a fully turned vampire, enters and attacks them while Charlie tries to keep her away. Vincent manages to open Jerry Dandridge's coffin and tries to drive a wooden stake through his heart, but Dandridge wakes up, rises up, very Dracula-like, and Vincent stabs him but misses his heart.
And Vampire Amy can bite me anytime, anywhere. I was just want to throw that out there. That's funny, but yeah. So he misses the heart, right? Like
Yes.
he gets there, he's in position, and then he misses the heart.
And Jerry Dandridge rises up. I mean, just like straight away, just like a Dracula would. And Amy, as a vampire, she is the cover art. That big triangular smile
Really?
full of
Okay.
teeth. So she has like 3 or 4 different forms.
That
she
is
shows
her.
up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice,
so
dude.
you do see her face. When you look at, to me, when I used to see Fright Night, and you see that cover, to me, I was like, oh, this is a horror anthology, like
Oh yeah.
like Creep Show or something like that.
And what's
that's what it looks like to me with the cover art. But
and the fog behind her head, like I can see a wolf in there. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really intriguing.
I love the cover too. Fright Night.
And you can see like the silhouette of a person standing in the window in the house. That's
Yeah.
really good. I did not look at that close. And even in her hair, like I said, I can see the wolf, but then there's other little mouths and stuff that
Oh,
are
yeah.
in there that
Oh,
look
yeah.
like maybe a bat transformation or something. That's really cool.
They're battling it out on the stairs before they go down to the basement, and Jerry Dandridge turns into a bat and kind of attacks Peter Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter's like holding him, fighting with him like that, and you can see him like trying to bite, and I think he bites.
He does. He's a hold of he's a hold of the stick.
But he bites Charlie at one point.
Oh, okay.
I think as a bat. And again, I don't think that matters or it comes into anything. But I do know that one of the endings that was deleted or rewritten was at the very end, Peter Vincent was going to say on his show something to reveal that he was a vampire.
Really?
Yeah. So, but it didn't end that way. So it was just one of the alternative endings that
Yeah.
could have happened, and it would have happened probably during that fight with the bat there at the end. But yeah,
That's crazy how they shoot all this extra stuff and alternate endings that
Yeah.
nothing happened. Like we were just talking about the Halloween 6 Curse of Michael Myers, where
Oh, yeah.
he draws that stupid symbol to like stop Michael Myers. Like,
Yeah.
why would you even shoot that? But whatever, that's a different topic. But it's cool how they do that, and they do that in video games too. I was just thinking, like The Last of Us,
Yes.
they shot this alternate ending, and then they originally went with the one they had. So
does Last of Us have different endings depending on how you beat the game, or no?
No.
Or does it just have the one?
no, it's.
'Cause
A
I know
visual-
Red Dead Redemption 2 has several endings depending
Yeah.
on how you perform throughout the game, whether you were evil or bad or good.
Right, like if you were a good person. So, no, there's no moral choices. Like it's just it's more of a. It almost feels like a movie.
Yeah.
And then you play through it, and there's like shooting. There's either stealth scenes or just all out fighting scenes, and then there's just the overarching story that no matter what you do in the game, it's the same ending.
I played a little bit of Last of Us, and it got me in trouble because I had Caleb, who was way too young at the time. I think you let me borrow it, or you were like, "Here, I don't
Yeah.
want this anymore," or you gave it to me, or something like that. And he saw some of those zombie scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traumatized.
A little bit. He watched them a little too young, and that's a very, very tough game for
Yeah,
a
it
kid
is.
to watch. The vampire rises from his coffin, pulls out the wooden stake, but when he attacks Vincent, Charlie begins smashing in all the basement windows, allowing the sunlight to hit Dandridge. Using a mirror, they reflect the sunlight, finally managing to kill Dandridge by blasting him with the rays, and he bursts into flames, and within seconds his body is reduced to a dust and bones, where Jerry Dandridge's death, the still alive Amy is apparently released from his curse and becomes human once again.
Yeah, you should have really blocked up the basement there, fella. That's like the worst oversight of the century.
Yes.
Is where your basement just has windows.
He just painted them. Is it painted them?
I guess.
And that's what they were knocking down.
You got to block them up, though, man. Like,
they just moved in, you know?
I guess. It shows a bunch of bricks and stuff over there. Like, he just hadn't gotten to it yet. Like,
at one point, he was still unpacking. He's like, I'm sorry about the mess.
That's true.
We're still unpacking. We're trying to. And again, you only have so many hours in the night to do those kind of things.
That's why you got Billy. Well, I'm just saying.
Billy, so it's Billy's fault. Billy should have been on this.
That is Billy's fault. He's curse you, Billy. I think that was the last thing he said. Curse you, Billy. No.
The scene where Dandridge is obviously getting lit up and the skeleton, he's turning into a bat skeleton that's like flailing around and stuff. That's a really cool scene.
Yeah, and that's you mentioned it too. I was going to also, but that's a leftover prop from the Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
because that was they thought it was too scary for that movie.
Ooh.
So they used it for this movie.
Oh,
so,
I didn't know that. That's cool. In the final scene, the movie ends just where it began. Charlie and Amy back in their room watching Peter Vincent's show on TV. I guess he got another job somehow.
Yeah.
Who announces that his movie this evening will be about aliens, not vampires, and winks to Charlie. The movie's left open-ended where Charlie looks out into Dandridge's house next door, now dark and vacant, and sees lights like eyes that go away. He then goes back to her for another makeout sesh on his bed. The voice of Evil Ed is heard saying, "Oh, you're so cool, Brewster."
I guess in the 80s you had to save your entire neighborhood just to get to second base with
you
your girlfriend.
You really did.
It was a tough go, like back in the 80s, man.
They were just like a better generation than we were. You know what I mean?
It feels like it. But man, super fun. It was really fun to watch this, and
I agree.
And just all the effects and the story. And and it's hard to say it because it does kind of affect their rating. If you just take a movie for what it is, you know, you're just kind of stuck with that. But then if you watch like some behind the scenes and you do a little bit of digging down the rabbit hole and you like, oh, this is why they did that, or oh, this is why they did this. It's really interesting. It makes it just a lot more cool for me. Like it just makes it a lot better. So I thought this movie was a good one for that.
And I agree. I feel like we have to like review these movies from where they came from, like 80s, 60s, Psycho and stuff like that. We haven't really done some of the older stuff.
Sure.
The 1970s.
Night of the Living Dead, the original one.
Yeah. And just like even 90s has like a fingerprint about it. You know what I mean? Like you can see a 90s horror film about it. But yeah, some of those classics are just like, they don't even have that feel about them. They're not campy. They just feel like The Exorcist. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know, Halloween, they feel timeless.
Yeah. They're just there. You can watch them anytime.
Even Psycho, timeless. It's black and white from the 60s. You know what I mean? Just like those movies are freaking timeless. So, but anyway, I do like this. I like the 80s feel, you know?
Yeah. And we got a few 80s coming up.
What we got? Well, what's next?
So if we're doing sequel September here, the next one we're going to record is Friday the 13th, part 2.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Then we're going to hop over to Halloween 3. And then we're doing Scream 2 and Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And that is our sequel September
I'm excited
movies.
about that.
So we're going to have fun with sequel September. And then we're going to have a few good movies here in October. And then, of course, we got that Halloween special. So really appreciate all you guys following us, liking us on all the Instagram, TikTok, all of the socials, man.
Make sure you're subscribed because we got a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, and please do like a video. It really helps us out. Like a video, leave a comment. Like if you disagree with us or if you do agree with us or you found something funny, we love all the comments, even the ones that trash us. That we found those particularly funny.
Yeah.
But leave a movie suggestion. I mean, we have a big queue to go through. There's so many movies that we still have left to do. Franchises we haven't even touched yet. So we're looking forward to all of it. So
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching as well.
Yeah.